the people that you're worried about not liking you and talking about you and snickering behind your back, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So let them do it. I had to learn that if I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. Go drink some coffee. It's a Starbucks up the street.
Too naughty or too nice? You decide with the Too Nice, Too Naughty podcast.
The Prince of the 269.
Hey, Too Naughty, Too Nice followers, subscribers. Good to see everyone. Thanks for coming in and taking a look. As you know, we have Lindsay Taylor back as our co-host. I'm so excited.
Hey, happy to be here.
Lindsay's in Memphis right now for the St. Jude thing. And we have Marcus Black here. And I can't wait to dive in, Marcus, to your world. And we're going to just ask you a few questions on what's going on in your world, how you got started, and that kind of stuff. But thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. We're very excited to have you on here. It was so cool meeting you at the Church Choice Awards in Las Vegas. It was amazing. You wore some amazing outfits. Oh my gosh.
You did look pretty dapper.
I can't believe
style.
Thank you very much. Listen, coming from the Santa, I can't tell you what that does to my heart. You was decked out every single day in your unique North Pole attire. Listen, and my beard, I'm on the way. I just want to be like you when I grow up.
Keep it growing, bro. Keep it growing. Well, awesome. Thank you, guys. And let's get this started. Let's start with, what do you do, Marcus? What is your thing? What are you up to?
Who are you, Marcus?
Oh my goodness. I feel like a better question is, what do I not do? I'm kind of like a Swiss Army knife, right? So I'm a motivational speaker. So I travel the world here, there, and everywhere, lighting up stages and filling people with inspiration, motivation, affirmation. So that's a huge part of what I do. I'm also an author and an author coach. So at this point, I've helped over 100 authors become best-selling authors. And then I also do a podcast. So I have my podcast, which is going crazy. It's doing numbers. And then I also work with a nonprofit. So I've been running a mentorship program in the inner city for the last 5.5 years. And I'm still doing that now through the incredible organization Generation Y. And we're pouring into kids and leadership development, character development, anti-bullying, mental health, all the things. So I stay a little busy, Santa.
Do Santa? What do you not do, Marcus?
I don't do naughty things, Lindsay. I make sure I'm on the nice list.
All right, well, that's for you and I are different, but that's all good.
That's for sure. So let's start from the very beginning. What was it like for you growing up? And I guess what I'm asking for is, let's find some juicy stuff, because I find out that most creators, especially motivational type people, most creators that like to pour into people have some kind of a past that makes them very relatable because of some of the stuff that you've gone through. So let's go back there and let's tell us a little bit about your past.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. And I'm an open book, and I share about this extensively. And I was born in Memphis, as I said, in the heart of the South, raised in the great state of Mississippi. And I have fond memories of that, but my parents were products of that. So they grew up in the poorest state in the union in a time where things weren't going real well. So it was a lot of stress and strain on the family financially. And then my dad, who is now one of my biggest fans, but we had a strange relationship for a long time because there was a void inside of his soul that he was trying to fill with a bunch of other things. And he could never feel it. He could never find fulfillment. So he tried to fill it with alcohol. He tried to fill it with gambling. And that made my childhood a lot of times a nightmare. It caused him to be very hateful to me. And just last year, I got an apology where he said, "For everything I ever caused you, I'm sorry." But for many years, I didn't believe in myself. And I didn't believe I had anything to offer the world. I didn't believe I had a voice. I believed there was nothing for me to say. And I settled as a lesser version of myself for a very long time, because of that environment that I just described to you.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. No, I get it. Yeah.
This man speaks. He moves me. I remember listening to your speech last year when you won the Cheer Choice Award last year. You made me cry, dude. I love you.
and it's nice to get to know you on a deeper level.
That means a lot to me. You know, when Cheer Choice Awards, when all of that came about, it was a time in my life where, and we'll get there as we keep telling the story, but I actually thought about giving up helping people. I said, I'm not doing this no more. I'm hanging up. I'm throwing in the towel because it's not working. So we'll get there, but we can continue the story.
Yeah, we can go there now because you've already talked. You know, obviously you're all over the place, doing motivational stuff, speaking to people, helping people. What was happening that made you want to slow down or not do it?
Yeah, so I had this wake up call in my life, and that's kind of the crux of my story, where I took life for granted and I spent time asking, why me? Why did I go through this? And why did I go through that? Why did I go through poverty? Why did we go through pain? Why did my family struggle? Why did we have brokenness? Why me? Why me? Why me? And at the age of 18, 3 of my closest friends and I flew off the highway, Dukes of Hazzard style, at 75 miles per hour, nearing a bridge. And that was the scariest moment of my life. It was like fast paced and slow motion at the same time. And my car spinned around in the air and I could feel trees slapping me in the face and glass slapping me in the face as the windows burst out the car before finally we hit a massive tree and an accordion in the car scrunched us in there. And I tell that story because I'm not supposed to be here. I'm living on borrowed time. There's no way I'm supposed to be alive, but I'm still here. And so I was questioning, why am I still here? I keep asking that same question, and I realized I was never going to get an answer to that question because the entire time I had been asking the wrong question. So the question was never why me. It was always what for. Because I realized my pain had a purpose. And if I was able to shift my paradigm, I could take what I had already been through and overcome and help somebody else. I could help the next person. And so I made a promise to myself. Oh, go ahead. You got a follow-up?
No, go ahead with a promise. I want to jump in. How would you explain that? How would you ask the people watching here to look at their pain and know that it is for positive?
So here's the thing. I feel like purpose a lot of times becomes this elusive thing that we're on the search for. We're looking for some deeper meaning, and you ain't never going to find it because it's not something you can find. You were born with it. And so all purpose is, in my definition, is the meaning you give your lived experiences. We all going to go through lived experiences, and they all going to be up, down, and all around. Some bad, some good, some ugly. And it's about how you take those experiences and give them meaning by serving somebody else. So if you take your pain, your current pain, and you think about how far you've already come, you're not where you want to be, and you're not where you're going to be, but you're not where you used to be. So even if you're only on step 6, somebody else is on step 3. And if you help that person get from step 3 to step 4, it gives your life meaning. It gives your pain meaning. It means you didn't go through that for no reason, and you help somebody else in the process.
Exactly.
Santa, I love this man.
Yeah. He's amazing. And that's what I came to. I didn't realize that by me serving others, that would fulfill me and bring me to my purpose, until I realized by serving others is where it really, really is. That's where life-changing stuff happens, is just serving those around you. But we get so caught up in our self-serving that we can't serve others until we're broken so hard, and you start feeling that feeling of giving a gift to somebody. And once you give that gift, and it could be a gift of listening, it could be a gift of smiling, it could be a gift of, I think you can do it, until that happens, that's when things start turning around for him.
Yeah, man, you spitting right now. You're saying a lot of great things. And I just appreciate this conversation because there's a lot of people who come to you, Santa, because of the hope that you bring. I know the first time I was introduced to you, it was through Danielle Claudio, and she was going on about how incredible you were. And it was like instant joy. It's like I took a joy shot immediately. And I couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. And you epitomize joy and you epitomize hope. And so the fact that we're able to have this conversation, there's so many people hurting and so many people going through dark times. I hope, obviously, you find hope from Santa in this show, but you'll find hope even in the place of your pain to know that has a purpose as well. Not just the good, but that stuff too.
I got to ask though, like how do you find the hope in the darkness? How do you flip that switch where you're like so focused on yourself and your own personal pain and past traumas? Where is that switch to flip to shine that light on others?
So I love that you asked the question, and that's what I was getting
It's a
into. So
hard question,
it is. It is a
Mark.
hard
That's a
question.
hard question because
No, but I need to figure it out for myself. I'm being selfish in this moment asking.
no, that's a good question.
It started with the promise that I made to myself. So it started with a choice to say, no matter what, I am going to choose to focus on what this means and how it's going to help somebody else. Because the greatest
Mm,
fulfillment that we get in life is when you serve somebody else. You are in Memphis right now. And as soon as we talked about you being in Memphis, you lit up. Not just
Yeah.
because my city
wait,
got the culture, not because we got barbecue, the best barbecue in the land, not because we got the blues and the rock and roll. You lit up because you're there, and people who are at the end of their rope, you're bringing life. You are literally an ambassador for hope and change, and that fuels your soul from the inside. So when those children at St. Jude get to go and ring the bell because they beat this crippling disease and sickness, and you played a part in that, that makes your soul sing. And when they go back and tell a kid who just got diagnosed and that parent thinks their life is over, and they say, hey, I rang my bell and you can ring yours too. It's hard. It's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's easy, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
choice. And that choice is knowing that your fulfillment comes out of service to the next person. And your pain now has been given meaning because you didn't just let it be for nothing. You didn't just sacrifice it. You didn't take it for granted. You used it to help somebody else get to where you are.
That's such a profound thought for me, especially being the parent of a child who went through a bone marrow transplant. And for me, that's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm, with St. Jude, is because I know what it's like to have a sick child. And I can relate to other mothers who are feeling that. So I guess I don't look at it as me helping. I look at it as I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm going through the motions. I feel like I never do enough. So thank you for kind of flipping that for me a little bit.
You're not doing what you're supposed to do, though, because how many 9 out of 10 won't choose to give that back? 9 out of 10 are saying, my kid is okay. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to go and just still be bitter that it happened, but okay that we're in a little bit better place. But now you're saying to the 100 moms who just got this diagnosis and your world is crashing down because this child who you love with all your soul, I'm going to go and give you hope and be the epitome, the living iteration of hope just by my presence and showing. See, so it's not, that's a choice. You made the choice to say, I'm going to give them what I wish I had because I know what that felt like to be where they are. That's purpose.
exactly.
You doing it.
Lindsay, I had a question, Marcus too. Lindsay, I had a question and ask of me before I went to the Cheer Choice Awards. I belong to they're four businessmen, and they're pretty big businessmen. One runs a huge charity, another one owns a supplement company, another one owns anyway. And the question was brought up, who are you doing this for? Who is this for? What you're doing, Santa? Who is this for? And what is the main thing? Now that question, he says, I don't want to answer. I want you to dig deep. I want you to dig deep. Who are you doing this for? Who is this for, is what he said. And man, I thought and I thought and I thought, I thought, financially it's made a difference. I thought all kinds of things.
Right.
But it came down to when it hit me was the last person that I got to talk to at the Cheer Choice Awards. Now, I believe God works all of a sudden. He works at he brings it to pass at the ninth inning or right at the last minute. And it happens that way for me. I had a gentleman, his name's Michael, come up to me right where our makeup rooms are.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael is one of the winners that won his category in parenting. And he come up to me and he grabbed me by the shoulders like this. He goes, please don't stop what you're doing. Please don't give up. Please don't stop. And he started getting these tears coming down his eyes. And he's a single parent. we're going to have him on the podcast too, but he's a single. He has a little boy up there. Remember the 5-year-old little boy that was up on stage and he lifted him up and kissed him, you know? Okay. That's Michael. And then he hugs me and he's just sobbing. He says, "You helped me through this time in my life last year. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it." And then it hit me. This is why. This is who it's for. This is why I do this. And the main thing is to bring that joy, that comfort, to bring that person to feel like I may have felt when I was his age as a parent, you know, but to help him through that time. I found out exactly, narrowed it down. Now that makes it bulletproof for me. So if anybody else comes at me with something, does it fit into the main thing? Does it fit? Does it work for the main thing? And why it works so well? So I would encourage you to ask because I know, Lindsay, that we and Marcus, we can get all distracted. We can go this direction. We can go this direction. But when we find out what the main thing is and that purpose that's within us, it's life-changing. You're bulletproof. You're on the rail. You're unstoppable. You go harder. You go faster. I've never gone so hard after Michael hugged me like that. The next day I talked about it. I come home and I talked to my wife about it. It was just invigorating, filled me up deeply. And I seen how, just like Marcus said, you lit up when you said what you were doing.
Yeah, well, it's very close to my heart.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey this year, but this ain't about me. Let's get back to Marcus, okay? We can do me another.
Well, it is, yeah, but
it's about all
Lindsay
of us.
doesn't like this. We do this all the time. That's why she's.
I know. Santa's always trying to help me, and I love it, and I love you. But Marcus, oh my gosh, you do so much. Where are we moving next? Like, what are we going to go through? What came first for you? Was it your choice stuff, or was it Generation Y stuff? Like, what came first?
Yeah, so Generation Y, I connected with in 2020, and I became an ambassador. So I was already traveling, speaking, doing my thing, and I heard about this group in my city, and I was connected with Jordan, the founder and CEO. And when we were connected, yeah, man, Jordan has a heart of gold. He is like none other, man. That's my brother for life. But we were connected, and I got to hear his heart for the next generation, and I got to hear what he was doing. He was like, "Wait, you're a motivational speaker?" He's like, we got a team of rappers, dancers, singers, and motivational speakers. So we talked about it, and I said, tap me in, coach, whatever it was. And so for years before I became in an official capacity, I was just an ambassador on the team, spreading the word, spreading the message, helping people see it, and then going and actually speaking and doing some events with them. And then when the time was right, it just made too much sense, bro. Like what I felt like personally was that they've been doing this incredible work for 6.5, 7 years. And like, he's been so deep in it. I'm talking like stood in front of 150,000 students and poured hope into them like crazy, help students have a literal lifeline, not want to throw in the towel anymore, feel like there's a reason worth living, knowing that bullying ain't cool and that not on our block, ain't no bullies on our watch, like stuff like that. So I was like, the world needs to know. So I'm a megaphone. Let me be the megaphone. Let me tell the world about this incredible group, and so people can know what we're trying to accomplish and help us save lives. All right, let me calm down. You get it.
Please don't calm down. Be the megaphone.
Don't. And most people are afraid to approach things like that, afraid to do that. What I have a question on how do you overcome that fear? The fear of self-doubt, both personally and professionally.
You are in my wheelhouse now. You are speaking to my heart because for the longest time in my life, I did not believe. I didn't believe. I didn't believe in me. I didn't believe I had anything to offer. It is wild to me that I am an international motivational speaker when I failed public speaking in college. And I failed public speaking in college because I was told that I had nothing to offer, that I was going to be nothing but a failure and a bum my whole life, and that I was lazy and that I had nothing to say. And so I believed that. And I'm saying this because the people under the sound of our voice, you are looking like, man, Santa's just Santa. He's just a light. He was probably born that way. Lindsay can put a smile on anybody's face with her spirit and her soul and her demeanor. But I can't do that. I don't have what y'all have. I can't sit around yelling at microphones and making people cry, like Marcus. But I want you to stop doing that to yourself and disqualifying yourself, because look at it this way. I went to California. I'm sorry, I always tell these stories, but I went to California and I got to visit the redwood forest. Man, I got to witness a redwood forest, and there was this one massive tree that I tried to hug it, and I measured, and it took me 6 times, and I'm a wide guy. If you're watching this, you can see. It took me 6 times to get all the way around this massive tree, and I was so overwhelmed by this 450-foot, 500-foot tall tree that I was like, yo, one day that tree was a seed. However, everything it needed to become this giant, breathtaking, splendid thing in the world was already inside of it in seed form. And so it makes me think of every human being that was ever born into the planet. You were once a seed. And when you enter this world in seed form, you were already born significant. You can't find it. Nobody else can validate you. You don't need nobody's stamp of approval because you were already born valid. You were born verified, and all you have to do is not allow the things that are trying to take your mind and diminish and belittle you and dim your light to happen, and just show up anyway. Because guess what? The people that you're worried about not liking you and talking about you and snickering behind your back, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. So let them do it. I had to learn that if I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. Go drink some coffee. It's a Starbucks up the street. But it took a long time for me to get there. It was a James Baldwin quote that really pierced my heart. And he said, it took me many years of vomiting up all the filth that I have been taught about myself, and even have began to believe, before I was able to walk about this earth as though I had a right to be here. And so the message from the quote is simply this: you belong here. Where is here, you ask? Wherever you are. There's not a room. Some of you are listening to this. We're at the Cheer Choice Awards. There's people, including the 2 people I'm on the screen with. I don't have the community and the following they have. That can be intimidating when you haven't built what they've built. But I know I belong because I was born valid with purpose. And I know that if I open my mouth, I can make an impact because my pain has purpose. But this ain't about me. This is about you. So there's not a room on this planet you can walk into that you don't belong in, that your purpose and your gift and your talent and your abilities and your experiences can't move the needle forward for somebody else.
Wow.
Take a
Good
breath, man. Jeez. I feel like I need to put him on my like a wake up tone on my phone. So I wake up every morning with Marcus Black telling me that I can.
Yes. What strategies, what do you do to keep such a positive, fired up attitude? What do you do? Is there any strategies that you do for maintaining that positivity like that?
Yoga. It's yoga, right?
Yoga.
I need to. It's not yoga. It is twofold. It's twofold. The first is it is an intentional choice. I don't know. My perspective changed the day me and Death did the tango. When I danced and I lived to tell that story, it changed me in a way I can't describe, to the point to where I'm like, every moment of my life is precious. Even on my worst day, there's still something to be grateful for. And right now, my biggest complaint in life is the answer to somebody else's prayer. I want this new house. I just want to put my family in a better environment, and somebody's praying just to have a house. They're about to go to sleep with a kid under a bridge tonight, and I'm complaining, and it's perspective. Yeah. Because somebody always has it worse than you, even if you got it real bad. And it's hard to think about that because out of sight and out of mind. But let me tell you what else is happening. Every single day, you're being told all day, every day that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Your teeth ain't white enough. You're not big enough. You're not small enough. All the commercials are telling you, give me all your money because you're not good enough. Let me help you be better. And I'm not against self-improvement. We can improve. But the problem with that is there's a lot of noise in our minds. And so we live in this perpetual state of overwhelm because of all the things that are pouring into our minds. So this is what I do every single day. So my TikTok community got to witness me do this live yesterday. Step one is silence the noise. So when I say silence the noise, you got to have an intentional time where you disconnect from everything. That's TV, that's news, that's social media. There is no external things that are pulling you because you don't have to go looking for negativity. You open your eyes and you got 10 notifications. World War III is happening. All the division is running amok. Everything negative is going to take your mind and your heart from you, and you start your day behind the 8 ball. So I like to do it in the morning. You don't have to, but you gotta disconnect. When you disconnect, step two is to practice gratitude. So I list out every single day what I'm grateful for, and I name as many as I can. That list can get up to 70 things long, from the biggest thing to the littlest thing, like the breath, being able to breathe, like the breath of life going through my nostrils into my lungs. Because you never appreciate how incredible it is to breathe until you get your nose stopped up, the allergies hit you, and then you just wish everything inside of you that your nose would work the way it's supposed to. So I'm thankful for my heart beating inside my chest. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful I'm still here. I'm thankful for my challenges because they're teaching me and developing me and helping me grow. I'm thankful for it all. And it is impossible, physically impossible, for you to be in a super down state and also a super grateful state. They can't coexist. So if you just practice gratitude, it'll be hard at first, but if you can build that practice, it will physically change the way your mind works. You can look up Dr. Joe Dispenza or Dr. Caroline Leaf, who are neuroscientists who talk about the neurology in the brain and how to rewire it. They do a lot of like these actual practical, tactical things that rewire your mind and change the way, like physically alter the way your brain and your neurotransmitters fire. So I'm talking about some science now. And then the third thing after practicing gratitude is live in the now. Live in the moment. Worrying about what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now ain't promised to you. Only thing that's promised to you is today. So you can't afford to worry about tomorrow. Today got enough troubles on its own. You got to live in this moment. How dare I think about the 7 meetings I got tomorrow when I'm here with you with 2 incredible, beautiful souls and I get to spend time with you. I don't know when I'll get to do this again, so I'm cherishing this moment. But also, don't relive your past traumas and your pain on a loop. That's literally depression. I'm just replaying all my life's worst nightmares on a loop in my mind, spiraling out of control. I can't change yesterday. That's history. But I can learn from it and I can live in this moment. And those 3 things help me stay positive every single day. Silence the noise, practice gratitude, and live in the now.
So are you sure again that you don't do yoga? Because I don't know if you know this, but pranayama, when we're breathing in, right, we're breathing in the energy of life. That literally is yoga. A meditation is yoga. And you talking about the neurotransmitters and the science behind this, I learned through the yoga couple, actually, funny enough, on TikTok. So I think you might be doing something kind of spiritual there and not even realizing it through the yoga realm. So take a look at that sometime. But every word you said, I'm over here taking notes, Marcus. Like, you're a very inspirational human being, and Santa is too. I'm so motivated by you. And I think anybody who's listening right now, validate that. If you are listening, throw comments down. What do you love about this? What can you take away from this? And what's your tomorrow going to look like? How can you change tomorrow? Because I know I had to start working on my self-worth practice because it was horrible,
Yep.
But I love that's the second time this week that someone has suggested speaking about or, listing the things you're thankful for every day, practicing gratitude in the morning every day. So that's something that I'm going to start doing.
I promise you, it will change the way your day happens every day. A physical change. You'll notice
it.
And with that, I'm just going to ask because I already know the answer, but people that don't know you might not know your background, and the way you speak sounds a little like something people might hear on Sundays. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I am an ordained pastor. I have been since 2014. I also was a former megachurch pastor. So I served as the director of discipleship for 5 years. That's where I got my start as a speaker. They forced me on the stage. I didn't want it. I said, no, I'm not doing that. They said, you are. I said, I'm not. They said, you are. And I said, I can't do that. And they said, you want a job, don't you? I was like, I guess you win. But yeah, and what's crazy is I used to watch guys get up there and just speak with such passion and such conviction, and I'm like, I can never do that. This is hard for people to believe. I was deathly afraid, and I was so like in a box. I was so reserved, so much so the first time this lion roar came out of me, my wife was like, "Are you trying to be somebody else?" Like, she was laughing because she didn't think it was serious. Like, and I understand because she had been with me for 10 years at that point. It was like, who is that? I don't know that guy. But that's what was inside, dying to get out the entire time. Yeah.
Now it's hard to keep it inside, isn't it?
I can't, and I refuse to because I learned. So this is what changed that for me. While I was working at the church, I was going through the motions year after year after year. I had been 3 years in, and I got pretty good at going through the motions before a lady came into my class, and she said, "Excuse me, sir, in the middle of me teaching, can you believe this?" She said, "I need to say something." And in my brain, I said, "No, you don't." But but I said, "You know what is it, ma'am?" And she just broke down. I'm talking that ugly cry, like she just did that. And I was like, "Oh no, what's happening? We don't have time for this. I got to get through this information."
Right.
And she said, "My own family's in the next room, and they don't know I slept outside on the concrete last night, snorting cocaine lines off the street. And I don't want to be here anymore."
Wow.
And in that moment, for the first time in my life, I threw my notes off of that desk and I looked at a soul that was hurting and longing for hope. And I said, "Listen, you listen to me and you hear me clearly. You are beautiful at this moment. And I don't care what you did last night or even this morning before you got here. You are still valuable. You're still vital. And you are beautiful. And nothing you did before doesn't matter because in this moment, God loves you." And then I think this thing came out of me that never happened before. And like all the hair on my body stood up, kind of like it's doing right now. And I gave her hope. And we surrounded her, and a bunch of ladies came and hugged her and got her number and cared for her. And I was like, the light bulb went off in my head in that moment. This ain't about me. This ain't about you. This is not about us. Every time there's a camera, every time there's a microphone, somebody's life is on the line. We don't know who's listening to this at the end of their rope. And just because they heard our voices, Lindsay, because they heard your voice and your story, they're going to hold on and fight another day. That's why I'm not going to settle. I ain't going to shut it down for nobody.
It's so inspiring. You've done so much and you are doing so much and you are so much, but I still want more. Like, it's not enough. I really love and adore you. I feel like we should jump into Cheer Choice just a little bit. How'd you get involved with Spread the Cheer?
Yeah, so I remember getting a call from Alexander Gonzalez. And yes, me too. He said, "Bro, you've been nominated for an award. Tell all your people, go get up on it now. Tell your people to vote." And I was like, "What? Wait, what? I got what?" So I didn't know what it was, but I said, "You know what?" He sent me my link and I sent my link to my community. I posted it here and there, and I didn't know anything about it, but that was enough to make it to the next round. And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Okay, so I actually started going live and talking about it with my community. And they really got on board and they went crazy and they were like, "He's going to win because nobody's more incredible. We're going to make sure the world knows this guy and who he is." So the community went crazy and I come to the awards and not expecting to win, not knowing what to expect really. I kind of that first year just kind of laid low in the cut. Nobody really knew who I was. But I told Alexander, I said, "If my name gets called on that stage, I promise you I'm going to blow the roof off the place." And he said, "I know you, and I know you are." And my name got called, and you know what happened after that. But the reason that was so powerful for me is because at the same time, the week he called me of that nomination was the week I decided I'm not helping people no more. I'm not doing a podcast. I'm not recording another video. I am not.
Wow.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, and it's crazy.
That's amazing.
My heart was broken. My heart was broken. Is what it boils down to. Without saying too much, I serve a very at-risk demographic. I serve a demographic that has a lot of pain, a lot of poverty, like parents committing suicide of kids. Like,
I want to hear about that. No, let's go into that. Who do you serve?
So
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of serving in Oklahoma City at John Marshall High School and in Oklahoma City Public Schools, and it is a beautiful community of students, but it's in the inner city. So when you think of under-resourced, when you think of, just not having access to basic things like grocery stores or basic human needs, it's like that. And so I've had students that I personally mentor call me after sleeping in the park for a couple days, and I'm able to take them and get a meal. And this kid, I'm like, bro, why would you sleep outside in the park? Why would you not call me? You know that I would take care of you. And the reply I get is, with what phone? How am I gonna call you? I don't have a phone. So I didn't have a choice. And so, situations like that. And it just came one week. It was one situation too many where, one of my students walked into some very traumatic things. Another one of my students got shot in a drive-by. Didn't have nothing to do with him or his house. Just a straight sitting in his bedroom, in his bed, a stray bullet hits him in the back. And now he has PTSD because I don't know, just sitting in my home, minding my own business, staying out of trouble, I get hit in a drive-by. And
Wow.
then, yeah, my heart was broken, man. Like it was just one too many things that week that I said to myself, like, bro, you pour your heart and soul out every single day. You can find me crying out all over the internet, in my city, in my community, everywhere. And does it even matter? Is it even making a dent in the darkness and the evil in this world? Like, and I started to feel like it wasn't. And like the problem is too big for the first time in my life. And I wasn't gonna make good on that promise I made to God to keep showing up and serving.
Wow. Marcus, how can our listeners, how can they help support what you're doing?
Man, I'm so glad you asked that. So first I want to say this, and then I'll get right into that. So
Okay.
I sat in that space.
It just makes my heart. You just don't. I mean, you're hitting all the right strings for me.
Yeah.
How can I help serve you?
I'm gonna tell you. Matter of
what's the
fact,
best
I'll come
thing I
back to
can
that.
do?
I'll tell you how. So if you guys are watching this,
Okay.
I have letters on my hat that say MC. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but raising funds to sustain this type of work is not easy. It's hard. I'm just gonna be honest. It's hard. And so we decided, instead of going through 2 years worth of grant processes and corporate meetings, like, what if we just crowdfunded and just did like small amounts? So the letters on my hat stand for Million Club. And the Million Club is, we're looking for 1 million people to give $5 or whatever. Their heart, it's on their heart. So 1 million people to give $5, any amount, $5 or more. And that is how we can fund the next 3 to 5 years of us in the school, giving these kids hope, teaching them life, giving them life skills, teaching them resilience, saving lives. And that's what we're doing. We just now rolled this out, and it's like, look, you're not telling me with 330 million people in this country that's not 1 million of those people, that small percentage, to say, I believe mental health matters. I believe the next generation matters. I believe that bullies should be eradicated completely. I believe that their life is worth living. And that is how you can help us. So if you got $5, if you can trade your Starbucks for a day, you can help us. And if you know some people who care about this same type of thing, they can help us. And so that's what we're doing, man. And it would mean the world to me. It means the world to me that you even asked, because I'm not gonna lie. It's again, my heart was broken because the work is so big. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like majority of the students in my district and the demographic look like me. If you can't see me because you're listening to this, I'm brown. And there's a lot of people, I hear all these things on the news that are like, man, all this black on black crime and nobody's doing anything about it. I'm like, that is spitting in my face, because I'm on the front lines every week getting kids out of gangs, and I'm keeping kids from going and throwing their life away with gun violence. So like, don't tell me who's not. And there's a whole bunch of people by my side locking arms doing this work, not just in my city, in every city. So if you do care about it, instead of looking at what you're being fed, you can find the truth in the people who are trying to stop and be a part of the solution. And you can help. You can help us by praying for us. You can help us by showing love on our social media. And because the kids watch it, we make that for the kids. And the kids are like, turn up. They love us putting smiles on their faces. And we go to their school, and Drake might as well have come to their school, or Taylor Swift or somebody. The way that we show up at these schools, kids think we're celebrities because nobody else goes and does the things we do. So if you want to help, I'm telling you, even $5, if you got a heart for it, you can.
Yeah. How do we get to the Million Club?
www.pursueyourwhy.org. Pursueyourwhy.org. On there's going to be a box that says give, push give, and then there's going to be a campaign that says Million Club. On that campaign, you also get things. So we created these coins, and as a part of you supporting, the coin says, I am one in a million. Everybody who gives,
right?
yes, sir, www.pursueyourwhy.org. And this right here, I don't know if you can see it. We'll probably zoom in. So it's a coin, a collectible.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, oh, hold on.
Turn your arm.
This
see,
way.
There you go. Turn your arm. There you go. Can we see that? Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Yeah. MC. So it's what's on my hat. It says Million Club, and we'll mail you this. And there's 6 different colors. So if you give $5, you get one color. If you give $25, you get a different color. If you give $50, a different color. 100 up to 1,000, they're all different colors. But you can collect them, and we're sending those out. And then there's a hat. Also, you can get the hat once you give a certain amount, and we mail that to you. But it's basically, we want to put the fun back in fundraising.
Right. I love it so much. Can I make multiple different donations to collect the coins?
You can. We'll mail you all the coins. You can.
I love it.
And that honestly means the world to us, because it's a fight every day. Every day it's a fight. Like,
so when did you start the Million Club? When did you start the Million Club?
Right now. When I say right now, we just had the idea a month ago. We soft launched it at the Cheer Choice Award. The official campaign starts May 1st, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right.
So you guys are getting this like right now. You guys getting it early. You're getting access. But yeah, we're about to turn up and really push this into our communities and local businesses. We're doing a big event called Spread Hope in our city with Chicken and Pickles partnering with us, and we got the whole city coming out for that. And we're rolling this out.
Chicken and Pickles. Wait a minute. Back up, Marcus. I know you're getting excited now. But I heard Chicken and Pickles, and I heard an event. Now, what event's happening in your city?
So on May 2nd in Oklahoma City, it's called Spread Hope. Chicken and Pickle is this like super incredible place where you go and play pickleball, but they also serve food. It's like a whole experience in itself. But they are known they're known for really caring about the communities they're in. So they actually reached out to us and said, we know a lot of kids in our city need hope. We know you guys are at the forefront of like doing things that give kids hope. Can you help us throw a community event where we partner together, feed the kids for free? They play games for free and their whole family. And on top of that, we'll take in contributions and help you because we believe in what you're doing. So that's happening on May 2nd. It's called Spread Hope from 6 to 8 p.m. in Oklahoma City.
Nice. Fun.
I just took a peek at your website because I couldn't. I'm not a patient person, so I just looked at. I'll be making my donation, and anybody out there listening, again, that's pursueyourwhy.org if you want to support the mission.
Yeah. So the reason it's called Generation Y, WHY, and I know you guys are going to talk to Jordan, so I won't give away all the thunder because it's a crazy, impactful story how it started. But we have learned that if you can tie a kid to a purpose, they become 10 times less likely to try to harm themselves, and they don't listen and believe the lies of the bullies who are telling them they're not enough when they're tied to the purpose. So Generation Y physically, but Generation WHY, we're giving you a purpose and we're setting you ablaze and empowering you to go live that purpose and not listen to these people who told you they're not enough like they told me, because they lied and I'm living proof.
Right.
It took me 35 years to tune out the bullies. And I'm so glad that I have thick skin. And I'm from Massachusetts. So before the 35th year, I was faking it. I pretended like it didn't bother me, but it did, and I went through a lot as a kid. So I just love what you're doing. I think this is incredible. And I look forward to hopefully even working with you and helping in some other ways if I can too.
Listen,
yeah. And I make the commitment, Marcus, that I'll show up for you at one of your events.
Wow. Oh, okay.
My community will help support that. I know my community would help support that.
Let's talk, because we do our annual gala in November. And I know that's getting close to busy season for you, Santa. Like, I know November gets close to real busy. You got a lot of little L's getting ready. But We pack out a theater and we actually put on a show for our supporters the same way we do for the kids. And so if you guys, if we want to talk about being a part of that, like I would love to talk about that.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do that. We'll be in touch, Marcus, I promise. And you be sure to make sure you reach out to make sure that happens soon. We'll get that we'll get the date. We'll get it on there and we'll be there. I'll be there.
I would love to attend as well. And there's just so many things that I would like to talk to you about. And I think I said that last year and 6 months ago and on your live once. Your energy is it's captivating. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you're a published author. You help authors. I'm a writer. I believe you had something to do with the book that we are both in.
Listen,
friend. Yeah, go there.
That was, so we were talking and brainstorming because I believe in my whole heart and spread the cheer and the work that this incredible organization's doing. When you talk about spreading smiles and celebrating the good of social media and the people like you guys that deserve to be celebrated, I was like, man, I'm all in. So we were brainstorming ways to kind of help the organization advance. And I was thinking, what do I have to offer? And I'm like, man, how many books have I produced? And I'm like, you got all these incredible people with all these incredible stories. I just had the idea. So I ran it by a couple of board members first. And it was like, yo, I got this idea. Like, what if we produce a book and tell these incredible people's stories? And then all the proceeds will go right back into the organization. And this is my contribution to fuel what you're building. And all these people have crazy communities who are going to want to read their stories. So if all of our fans go and collectively support this book, you're talking exponential. And they loved it. And so they were like, okay, tell Danielle. So we called Danielle and I pitched it to her. And she was like, oh, yes, please. Like, yes.
Instant yes.
We rolled it out to you guys. And that process was beautiful. Like reading those stories and the editing process, and I'm like, man, you just never know what someone's been through. You never know the story behind the smile until you do. And so, like Santa said, he said it earlier, all of these incredible people that you guys are listened to and are inspired by, behind that was a story that forced them to become this person they are. And they have their pain and they have their origin story. And so just like you have yours, like don't discount yourself because of that pain and that trauma. Like that's how you become what you want to become.
See, Santa, all you have to do is just read The Social Spark and pluck everyone for the podcast. That's it. Everybody's got a story in that book.
Social Spark.
Social Spark. I'm chapter 27. Just saying. What about you, Marcus? What chapter number are you
chapter
at?
2. Chapter 2. Just because I produced a book and like edited over half of it. So me and Danielle
begged for 27. That's my lucky number.
You like that number?
I was like, can I please have 27? Like it just means more to me than you'll ever know.
I like number 7. I should have thought of that.
You're too late. But congratulations on all of your success.
Danielle was amazing though. In the process, that girl worked tirelessly and bent over backwards, and we had to do a lot to make this a reality. And I just want to give her flowers because she is an angel walking among us. But if she listens or sees this, or if you guys don't know who that is, she's the incredible mastermind behind Spread the Cheer USA and the Cheer Choice Awards. And she is a literal angel. She works so hard, so tirelessly. She did so much behind the scenes. So I'm giving you your flowers publicly. Love you, girl.
Yeah, I love you too, Danielle. She's beautiful inside and out. I was just going to ask him how he liked presenting this year at the Cheer Choice Awards.
You made it easy because you set us up for success, so I do appreciate that. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I do better if you just give me lights, cameras, and tell me go. I'll go. But if you give me like something specific to say, that's harder for me. So that caused me a little anxiety. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, I gotta say the right thing at the right time. Thank you. I appreciate it. But it was fun, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to stand before such a massive crowd of some of the most impactful human beings on the planet and be able to share with them in that experience. It was incredible.
Yes. Good job, Lindsay. Good job.
I loved that Marcus came rehearsed too. Him and his crew rehearsed it, which was great. There's some people that just kind of wing it, and that works wonders as well. I didn't rehearse, I just wung it, and there's a lot of people that did, but y'all were so full of energy on the stage and prepared, and it was beautiful to watch. It's just so cool to write something and then see someone like perform what you wrote. Like Kelly G and I were like, is this really happening right now?
Well, you guys did a good job. You guys did a great job being detailed and giving us direction, and we just wanted to make you proud. So seeing you proud, that's everything to us. And there was a lot of us. So when I said there's a lot going on, it was literally a lot going on. So yeah, you did great.
Loved it. Y'all did great.
Awesome. So Marcus, after the Cheer Choice Awards, what have you been up to? What's going on now in your world? Where are you going? What's happening now?
Oh my goodness. So we came right back, and the day we got back, the next morning we had 2 classes at our school in the inner city, John Marshall. So we rolled right into that. And the next day after that, we had another out-of-town trip and a showcase in some small town in Oklahoma. So we drove like hours away to go and throw on a show for this school. And so, yeah, we hit the ground running as soon as we got back. And then right after that, I tapped it back in, recorded a couple podcasts here. Shout out to my guy, Rose Records Creative. And really, this is an incredible story even in itself, because like I started here with my incredible engineer, and we started together in his house before there was ever a studio, before there was ever lights, cameras, action. It was us in a bedroom with some foam on the wall and some clothes and some instruments around us. And so just to see where this has come, like I just want to shout him out in this moment too. But got me back in the studio with him. I had to work on some clients because I trained speakers to be more effective speakers. And I'm working on a book retreat that I'm about to do in Puerto Rico in May with a couple of authors who are coming out and going to help them write their own personal book in Puerto Rico in a couple weeks.
Wow.
What do you not do?
Oh my goodness. Sometimes they tell me to slow down. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, sometimes I might need that.
I'm so inspired. I'm so in awe of all that you do. Are there days where you just need to rest, where you've just hit the wall and you've had enough and you got to take a nap? Like, do you sleep, Marcus?
Now, I don't sleep well, and I don't. I wish I did. I might get 3 or 4 hours a night, and my wife is like, "How are you functioning?" I don't know. It's probably not healthy, but I don't know. Like, I learned about circadian rhythms, and everybody has one. And apparently, if you complete one full cycle and don't start another one, then you'll feel like you slept a full night. Everybody's just kind of yes. Everybody's just between 3 and 4 hours. So if you sleep, if let's say your circadian rhythm is 3 hours, if you sleep a full 3 hours, that's better than you sleeping 5 and not completing that second 3, because you'll feel more tired because you didn't complete the full cycle. So I'm like, okay, that's how I justify me not doing it. But there are days, though, honestly, where I'm like, you know what? Somebody asked me this once. He was a CEO of T-Mobile at the time. He said, "How are you always on? I've never seen you anywhere and not be on." And I said, my rule is this. I said, if I'm off, I'm not on. So you won't ever see me. You won't ever see it, because if I'm off, that means I'm not online. If I can't give the community or whoever I'm talking to my very best, then you're not going to see me. I'm going to check out, and I'm going to listen and actually rest and refuel and replenish and come back and give you what I got.
Yeah, I had to ask, because I know that for me personally, like I hit a wall the other day where I was like, I was in a feedback loop of like overwhelm and judgment. And I was like, I can't today. I can't. And I just had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with doing nothing that day because my brain was overloaded. It's so funny because normally when I'm fueled with anxiety and energy, I freak out. But instead, I was so overwhelmed, so toasted that I literally just laid down and I was so relaxed because my body just gave up. Like I was just done. I was like, we're resting today.
I do that more often now than I ever used to, because my mentor is Trent Shelton, and he believes in that. He believes in your peace, and he's always like, bro, listen to me. You got to be in this for the long haul. And if you don't have those days, you won't be in this for the long haul. So sometimes you sit your little self down and just not do anything. And so I've gotten better at saying, you know what? the world has been going on for a few thousand years, and however many years before me, it's gonna be okay if I take one off.
Right. I'm so glad to hear that. That's the answer I needed. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So where can people find you on socials?
That's exactly, yeah. How can people find you?
I always say I'm like
And
Visa.
we'll put them in the comments. We'll put it in the other stuff too. But
yeah, thank you so much. I always say I'm like Visa. I'm everywhere you want to be. So if you find me, you look on Instagram, you look on TikTok, you look on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, everywhere. If you just Google at MBlackSpeaks or you go find MBlackSpeaks with an S, you can find me. So all the incredible things that I've done and all this stuff I've talked about is out there. Also, my website, mblackspeaks.com. You can check it out. And then you can follow us, the page of the mission at Generation Y, GNWY.co. You'll see my beautiful face in that content as well.
You did such a great job. Thank you, Marcus. It's been such a treat to have you on here. And of course, Lindsay, you're amazing. It's such a great time with you. And Marcus, I can't wait to see where you're going with your life from this point on and the things you're going to do. So just don't give up and keep going. You got it. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, on the moon. This guy's going.
Thank you for having me, man. That means the world to me. Thank you for your community. And you keep shining your light, and you keep shining your light, and y'all keep shining your light because you can. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.